My name is Binod and welcome to my channel. So yesterday I took the topic of Buddhism, right? And the topic of Buddhism comes under philosophy, okay? The Indian philosophy, and that is why it is very important to know why do we need to read Buddhism and Jainism or other philosophy in the gamut of civil services, right? So what is the relevance of this kind of modern philosophy? Why do we need to read this kind of modern philosophy for civil services, right? What are the purposes of these chapters? So today we will discuss this thing here in this lecture. Okay, so the background to this school of Jainism and Buddhism can be drawn back from the Vedic tradition, and how it can be related to Vedic tradition. Let us, or how it is connected to Vedic tradition, let us check it, right? So what happens, according to the Vedic tradition, according to the Vedic tradition, there are four basic ends or stages of human being, right? And if we follow those four basic stages of those four basic stages of life, we can liberate our soul from the cycle of birth and death, from the cycle of rebirth or birth and death. Clear? And that is why, and to attain this cycle of birth and death, we must go through these four stages. And the first stage is dharma, and the first stage is dharma. Here means dharma means moral values. It is a objective resolution. It is ethical values and objective evaluation of yourself, of your activities, of your deeds, how you can manage your conducts in a society as a human being, and it always promotes the righteousness. Clear? And in the second stage we have artha. Artha, here it means economic wealth. Sorry, not economic wealth, economic values. Why do this Indian Vedic philosophy is talking about economic value? Because to attain a burden free life, we must accumulate a certain amount of economic prosperity as well. And in the third one we have karma. And in the third one we have karma. So what does this karma denote in this sense, in this context? Let us check. So the third stage is karma. It means pleasure, love, psychological values. It means, karma means, if a person is born, he is bound to that, right? In the meanwhile, he has to marry, or she has to marry. This is pleasure. She has to make love, or he has to make love. This is karma. This is the karma of human being, or the works we need to do to live a life, a healthy life, right? So it is denoted by this stage. Now, and there is one more, the last stage, that is the moksha. That is the moksha. Moksha, it is a different connotations in different philosophies. But according to the Vedic tradition, moksha means liberation, spiritual values, right? Moksha means when you go through the previous three stages properly, that is dharma, artha, and karma, then you will attain moksha, liberation of your soul. To this, Buddhists call it as nirvana. To this, Buddhists call it as nirvana, and Jain call it as kevala jnana, the ultimate truth, from where you can stop yourself from the cycle of birth and death. You can attain the ultimate truth, nirvana, or kevala jnana, or moksha. So these are the four stages from where different school of Indian philosophy will draw their inspirations, will eventually be connected to these four thoughts, to for these four stages. Okay, so let us check. And to attain them, the different school preach different ways. And to attain these four stages, or and to attain moksha, different school teach different methods. And among them is, there is a clear demarcation of orthodoxical school and heterodoxical system, right? Orthodoxical means they are rigid, they are conventional, they don't seek any change, they are rigid. Whereas heterodoxical, they deny the conventional way, they protest the conventional methods, they discover new ways of attaining nirvana or moksha by drawing its inspiration from the four stages or purusarthas from Vedic tradition, right? So among orthodoxical school we have Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Samaikha, Yoga, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. Remember this thing? And Vedanta. So even yoga is a philosophy that teaches people, that teaches men or women to attain moksha. Clear? By practicing proper yoga, we can liberate our soul. Okay, and we have already discussed about Buddhism. We do know how Buddhism works, how Jainism works, how Charvak works, right? And if you need detailed video about this kind of topics, you can just comment down below. I will make a proper video with previous year question papers. Okay, so after this, what do we need to read is, so let us see some important schools, right? Some important schools and how they work. So at first we have Nyaya. It was propounded by Saga Gautami, and it talks about gaining knowledge through five senses is the sole way of attaining liberation. It means here also it emphasizes on objective experience. Here it is not asking us to have a subjective resolutions, subjective experiences. Here he said that the five senses that we have or that we possess can lead us to the way of liberation. And in the second one we have Vaisheshika. Vaisheshika is propounded by Kannada, propounded by Guru Kannada or Sheikh Kannada, and its objective is objective and realistic. It emphasizes on individual level of experience. Okay, since it believes in the idea of universe which can be changed into a finite world, which can be changed into a finite thing. So it means if this whole universe can change into a finite unit, then why cannot we attain moksha by objective and realistic experiences, right? That is what Vaisheshika talks about. And in the third number we have Samaikha. It is the oldest one. Guru of Buddha, Alara Kalam taught him this branch. So remember this fact, this is a very important fact. Gautam Buddha, even Gautam Buddha was taught this school of thought, that is Samaikha. By whom? His guru, the guru of Gautam Buddha was Alara Kalam. Okay, and after this we have Yoga by Patanjali. Remember this thing, if you attain the proper methods of doing yoga, then you can liberate yourself from the tyranny of this world, from the tyranny of cycle of birth and death. Got it? So these are the importance of reading this school of philosophy. Okay, reading the school of Indian philosophy. And now how it can help us in our journey to become a in our journey to the world of civil service, right? At first, look at it, the four Vedic stages. It speaks about the four Vedic stages. It talks about attaining moksha. Moksha here means ultimate truth. It means if you fulfill these four duties properly with proper faith and proper intention, then you shall never be sorry about your activities. You shall never be sorry about your decisions. Clear? So while taking decision, always remember these things, that in life we have to do these four stages. We have to go through these four stages, that is dharma, artha, karma, and at last moksha. It means we need to follow our dharma, that is our moral value. Artha, it means while doing our activity, following our patience, while doing our duty, we must take into account our economic prosperity. And at the third stage we have karma. It means our karma, different stages, different situation, in different situation how we react. Emotionally we should be strong. That is what this thought of school is trying to preach. And at last moksha, that is that. So at last, if we come to the brink of the edge from where we can say that we will go to the land of souls. So if you come to that stage, you shall not be afraid, because it is one of the noble stages that has been preached in Vedic tradition. Clear? So that is all for today. Thank you so much for the patience.